This is one of my favorite chapters because this is where we're going really, really deep on this like deep identity level change, which is this frames. Now, as we talked a lot about in the chapter, what guy do women want already, as you know now, an alpha male has a certain set of values. He knows what he wants, he knows what he's believing in, and he's acting through those values. However, he's also able to switch those values, those frames, after carefully considering them. So I really want to say here, this is not an excuse to be a stubborn fucking asshole. Okay? You have your set of beliefs, you have your set of values, you have your frames or your frame that you look through to the world, and you're open-minded. If, there comes another frame, actually that one helps a lot better in the long term, or even just for that situation, you're able to switch through those frames, okay? No need to, quote-unquote, hold the frame, no matter what. No, an alpha male is totally cool. If he's wrong, he's like, oh, actually, that's a better opinion. I'm going to have that opinion now and go with that. So let's look at it. What is a frame? So the frame is the literal frame through which you look at the world. Let me give you an easy example. Okay, a friend of mine, he's very pessimistic. Very pessimistic. So his entire frame through which he looks at the world is like, everybody wants to fuck me over. I'm a very unlucky person. The world is not a nice place. So for example, he misses the bus. I miss the bus to school. Now his frame gets reinforced. Like, oh yeah, that's the perfect example. Life is a bitch. The world is a conspiracy against me. Everybody wants to do me harm. I see it because I'm missing the bus. Now, as a different example, I train myself to be very optimistic. Nowadays, I'm a lot more optimistic. It goes also wrong with my confidence than I used to be. My world frame is, the world is easy, the world is awesome, everybody's my friend, everything will come to me if I work hard, the world is an amazing place, yada, yada, yada. So if I miss the bus, my worldview gets just as much confirmed as my friend's worldview, but the good thing is his worldview is actually helping me. So I miss the bus and I'm like, perfect! More time for myself. Now I can sit on that fucking bench for 20 minutes like Eckhart Tolle and meditate. Now I have extra time to go through my notes or whatever. I'm happy about that. So notice how my friend's frame was actually dragging him down, and my frame was lifting me up. The only difference is I made the choice to have a frame that helps me in my journey. That is what your frame ultimately is supposed to do. It's supposed to help you in your journey. Okay, so, and the beautiful thing is you can change your frame as much as you want. This is literally the way you can bring deep identity level change to yourself. Now, it's not going to be quick. You're not going to change your frame within a day or a night. It will take a while, but it is possible. And this is, again, something so truly amazing. This is how you can change your worldview. This is how you can step up in terms of your personality. This is how you can let your personality grow with setting up the right frames for your journey and repeating those over and over and over again. So it's really like this. Just imagine you see an extremely beautiful girl at a bus stop. If you're only remotely like me in the beginning, my frame was, I'm not good enough. She's not interested in talking to me. She's probably out of my league. I don't know what to say. I'm not excited. I'm fearful. I'm trembling. Yada, yada, yada. Pain, pain, pain. Fear, confusion, fear, confusion. That was my frame. Now, at some point, beginning of my journey, I made the decision, hold on a second, I get myself a better frame. So that little voice inside my head that said, she's out of my league, I'm not good enough, I'm scared, I'm not good, blah, 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 all that voice in my head changed to things that helped me, that supported me on my journey. So I told myself things like, she's just a little girl that wants to be loved. By me approaching her in a sincere and fun manner, I can make her day. I'm a cool person. I'm just as much as a human being as she is. She could love talking to me, all these things. So that voice in my head literally changed from like this person that tried to drag me down to my own wingman, to like my personal motivator. So, hey man, you excited, man? Go get her. So again, like that voice in my head will always be there. The voice in your head will always be there. However, the beauty about it is you can change that voice in your head. So here's how we're going to do it. We're going to set up frames, okay? Frames for game, frames for uptimes, frames for downsides, but we're going to begin with one kind of main frame. And by the way, we'll provide you with my personal frames that I've been having throughout this whole fucking journey, specifically my first years in this whole pickup thing. I'm plainly going to share exactly word by word those frames. Some of them used to be in German, I translated them, but apart from that, this is some very, very personal shit, but I wanted to share that with you because I care about you. And I want you to, again, I want to be real as possible. I want the national to be as real as possible so you have full access to my frames as well. Obviously, just, you can use them one-on-one if you feel like. You can tweak them a little bit, you can see them as inspiration. So, but now, we're going to set up your frames together. First and foremost, the game frame. Later on, you can establish things like a personal frame, we're going to work on that, or a work ethic frame, and so on and so forth. The basic gist here is you can have those frames one by one. You can also combine them together to just like one kind of main frame. That's up to you, But the game frame basically means, as the name suggests, things that will help you get good with girls and with people in general. Important to notice here, again, this is your new reality. So start repeating those in your brain, right? Make that voice in your head become a voice that will help you, and start acting through those core values. For example, that could be things like, I don't care what other people think of me. I'm the master of my life. I know what is best for me. the cool thing about these kind of frames is every point that you bring, some of them are already accurate. Things like, oh, I'm a confident person already, I just don't know what to say. Some of them are more like wishful thinking. We'll go through them. Let's see. So I don't care what other people think of me. Then we also have things like, I love maintaining eye contact. It makes my heart race, a feeling that makes me feel alive. It's wonderful. Then we also have something like, I love staying in sets as long as possible. It makes me feel alive, and it's a nice challenge. So you see how those latter two examples are actually wishful thinking. So what I did here, this is something one-on-one from one of my frames back in the days. What I did here is I took a sticking point of mine, not being able to hold eye contact, and not being able to stay in set for a longer time, and I formulated it in a very positively reinforcing way, so it's easier for my brain to understand. And again, that voice in my head that would, subconsciously trying to fuck me over with no eye contact, with exiting a set early, would change into, actually, I love maintaining eye contact. It's a great feeling. It makes me feel alive. I feel my heart rush. It's amazing. Or like, you know what? Instead of exiting the set because the voice in my head said it's not going anywhere, I'm like, oh, I love staying in set. It's a nice little challenge. So again, wishful thinking, right? And it could be accurate things as well. Something like, oh, I'm actually a cool dude. So those are game frames. Those are just a couple examples. Again, we'll look through the frames of my own personality myself, but those are things that you want to write down in terms of game. Another kind of frame that you can set up is a so-called personal frame. That is basically a frame, just an accumulation of things you like and things you don't like, things that make you unique. Now, important here again is it doesn't really matter what exactly those things are that you like and that you don't like, but what matters is how strong is your frame about it, how well are you sticking to those values. This could be, for example, 5 no-goes for girls or people in general. Just like 5, okay, this is something a girl should never do in my presence. This is something a person should never do in my presence, because that would mean, okay, I don't want to hang out with them anymore. Why is that so important? Again, remember, an alpha male knows what he wants and he has boundaries. If a guy's able to say no, even though the girl is pretty, nothing more attractive for the girl. This is especially important with the so-called LSE girls, low self-esteem girls. Those are girls that are trying to manipulate you and trying to fuck you over because they're they're crazy. But more about that in the chapter about girls, don't worry. So again, it's especially important for any girl, but especially for those LSE kind of girls, that you have boundaries. For example, I don't want people in my life that believe more in taking than giving. I don't want people in my life that display any kind of disrespect towards other human beings or animals. I don't want to be around people that drag themselves and or others down. I don't want to be around people that manipulate, that are of manipulating nature. So those, again, just personal examples of what kind of people that I don't like. And if you actually look at things here, like no-goes that I used to write down for myself, I don't like it if a girl doesn't have a hot body. So I would never have sex with a girl that doesn't have a hot body. That's literally number 1. If she has unclear skin, if she has bad breath. I don't like it when when she's too hairy. I don't like it, or like, again, like I would not hang out with a girl, or I would not engage in sexual activities with a girl that has no humor. I would not hang out with a person that is a liar. This is very crazy. I would not hang out with a person that is playing games, any kind of manipulative behavior. Absolute no-go here in German. Auf keinen Fall. Yeah. I also don't hang out with people that show any form of disrespectfulness. We already talked about this. These are the things that I used to write down. Important about these things is those frames in general are subject to change. You can always add new things. You can always cross out things like, oh, this doesn't apply to me anymore. So obviously you can always change them and form them to the very way you need to have them right now in terms of your sticking points on where you are in your journey. Another important point, again, this could be a frame in and of itself, or you add it to one of your frames. I am attractive because. It's very interesting. We're actually dealing with what is attractive about my life, about my personality, because you should be aware of why you are of value. I'm not saying why you're higher value than the girl, but just you should be aware of what makes you a cool person. Now, important here is, it doesn't matter what other people think of you. If you have a passion that makes you interesting, that you think makes you interesting, you're good to fucking go. Okay? Don't make other people's view about you your own reality. If you have a fucking passion, stick the fuck with it. That's cool. For example, I used to write down, I am attractive because I'm a good listener. I'm attractive because I am a musician. That is something I would write down now. It's interesting. I would never, ever write that down back in the days. I thought being a musician in a metal band is not cool. But now I'm like, yeah, I'm attractive. I'm a fucking cool musician. I'm attractive because I'm a gamer. I like to play video games. Now, see, I can say this with confidence now. I would have never, ever said that's attractive about myself back in the days, but again, I really want to use this for you to emphasize what makes you unique, what makes your passion, what is your passion, and that fucking passion is already attractive to the girls, no matter what it is. I'm able to work hard. That makes me a very cool person. That makes me an attractive alpha male, and I have a vision for my life. Those are just random examples of what I think makes me attractive. Let's see here my list that I wrote back in the days is I'm lively. It could be something as easy as that. Now again, you should write down 10 fucking points. Again, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but you should write down 10 fucking points that make you attractive to the girl. 10 points. And this could be literally something as weird as like, I'm lively. If you can't come up with 10 fucking points about yourself, girls aren't going to come up with that as well. So you're going to sit here until you come up with 10 points that make you attractive. This could be like, I'm tolerant. I'm a very tolerant human being. That's what I wrote down.